side, we know that for sure. And, yep.
Ooh, Wukong banned on the blue side.
Interesting. So they're not having any interest in picking that one up themselves. So might be a completely different angle here for Samdi now that he's on the Rift. We've seen his Kalista find a lot of success if it's left open here.
Yep.
I don't think it will be, though, with the bans we're seeing from T1 right now.
You'd kind of expect not. Hanwha Life with a few different options here that they could potentially go for. Of course, Silas has kind of slipped down the priority list.
Yeah.
Hasn't necessarily seemed as must ban.
Gnar, too, so they kind of go hand in hand. I like this ban a lot. Faker's looked so good on this Galio pick, and you know, it empowers aggressive plays like what Zayas was looking for. It empowers those sort of, can I break the game moments. As the Kalista, surprisingly, it's no one used the ban. We were saying that was probably going to come through here. So what's first pick here now? I mean, something like an Aphelios, this is not that kind of team, you know, and might just be due to getting the first pick Gnar, but Silas is open. Feels rough to do that.
They could first pick the Silas, or they could just take the Zeri if they would like to. T1, of course, a lot of options into this Silas if they would like to. But we'll see where their minds are going to be at. Of course, not wanting to pick the, well, the Rise definitely there. Of course, I'm pretty sure Faker is pretty good at Rise.
Yeah, he's got a pretty...
There might be a skin there that he never uses that he may have on the champion.
He may be embodied as Rise the Champion in a very famous opening video.
Cold, maybe Rise as well. Well, it
Lulu.
would be Lulu. Maybe it's just Lulu Zeri.
Well, you don't have to grab your AD carry just yet here, necessarily, as T1. You might want to wait and see if they're going to play the Zeri. Samdi not, you know, our resident Zeri winner, unfortunately, at this moment in time. I think T1 could definitely look to grab the Rise here if they want to play a more flexible draft, because I think that's going to be their choice in these first 3 picks no matter what. They don't necessarily need to lock your AD carry in just yet. Will actually be the Talia, which has been another champion that's laned pretty well into the Silas here.
Yeah.
Only for experts in the mid lane, though, I would say. It doesn't feel like a very comfortable matchup for our east side teams, but it's Faker who will be piloting this pick.
Yep, east side teams or Vikla, who didn't have a great game on the Talia in our previous series. But still, it's going to be a flex pick as well, so Owner could theoretically be playing it also if Faker would like to jump on one of his more attack damage based champions, as Sivir is going to be locked in with the Zeri available. So Hanwha Life Esports actually feeling like Sivir is the better choice here. We did see Henna manage to win a game as the Sivir into the Zeri. That was also Sivir into a Talia, I guess, if we are going to cast our minds back just a little way to our previous series. But
both of these series have had so many similarities that we just kind of have to keep casting it back. Silas and Gnar together, obviously very strong, because, you know, you have so many engage options now with Hanwha Life Esports. You could steal a lot of great ultimates away. We'll, of course, have the Gnar ultimate. Zeri will come through here with the Lulu, with the Sivir. It's almost as if these two teams just decide that's the matchup, that's how it's going to be. Because T1 could have actually gone Aphelios here and been like, all right, well, you have the Sivir, but I have a different, you know, 2-item spike 80 carry here, and I want to play a very different game. But Zeri is much stronger right now in this meta. And Talia is going to be so good at shaping some of these early fights away from Hanwha Life Esports. I love this ban on the Leona.
Yeah, Leo going to be coming through here. Of course, Carrier had a great game on Leona last time around. This time just denying it from Vista. He was very comfortable on the pick as well. Poppy going to be taken away so that T1 don't get to do the double no dash comp, which I think is going to make the game a little bit more playable for Hanwha Life Esports.
Yeah, I wonder if Zayas has any interest in playing the Gwen this time around, considering it is into the Gnar and has been a matchup that Gnar has felt a lot more comfortable with recently. Let's see if Hanwha Life Esports just bans it away. As early game jungle picks are very powerful, of course, trying to shut down the Zeri, but also could be good at punishing the lane that is trying to push. So that's what Sivir is going to be looking to do.
Do you know what I want to see T1 do? Just lock in Yone and flex it between mid and top lane, and flex the Talia between jungle and mid. That's what I want to see.
Well, it becomes more likely with a Gwen ban here, but I still think the chances are very small.
Yeah. I just really like Zayas and Faker's Yone. I just think that they're both very fun. So maybe they could maybe they could do it. Just, it's not my birthday, but my birthday's coming up next year.
Lee Sin?
Yeah, so that's going to say no. Although, theoretically, Zeus could be playing the Lee Sin into Gnar because that has been an okay matchup in the past, Copium.
Let's see. Just trying to make the series as interesting as possible here on the caster desk.
Clutching at straws a little bit, clutching at straws.
Hanwha Life have the option to play something like a Karma here to continue that pushing power we've seen so much into these Zeri lanes, but it's Lulu here. Nautilus is going to give you a little bit more hard engage and will be a little bit more lockdown for the Zeri pick. And lastly, you know, I mean, it might just be another Viego angle here for On Fleek because you need to be getting picks early in these fights. You need to be setting up these fights quickly and looking for resets and dominating around the mid-game where the Sivir Sylas is going to be at its strongest, and Viego fits the bill for this too. And basically everyone he could steal from on the side of T1 is going to be insanely valuable at snowballing fights.
Yep.
Let's see what it's going to be here. Is it the Flex Lee Sin? Probably not.
Is it going to be the Flex Talia? Probably not. Is it going to be the Flex Lulu? Probably not.
Definitely not.
I mean, Lulu is one of Faker's most played champions of all time.
The boring option. No. Even he knows it. It's the boring option. I was hoping maybe we were going to see something like Irelia or, you know, a Camille pick, and he's just going to dominate the lane again. He's going to try to punish this Gnar in mini Gnar form. Owner's going to camp the top side.
I'm still waiting for the swaps to come in, Wolf. Lulu going to switch Sejuani support. And, yeah, it's just going to be this, isn't it? It's a very standard composition here. As I wonder, no, Faker is of course not going to use a skin, so we're not going to be able to get the Frosty Wall as well as the Frosty Sejuani.
No synergy. No
synergy whatsoever. Well, I mean, there is actually quite a lot of synergy with the composition.
Yes,
not with the skins. Not with the skins.
Well, Hanwha, you're going to have to get a really nice mid-game lead, and you're going to have to roll with that towards, you know, third Drake fight. You're going to be looking for at some point because he's played so many, he almost broke 20.
Yeah.
And he might still break 20 towards the end of the season. It's not over yet.
He's on, this is his 18th game on the Gnar. I cheated. I looked it up.
Well, now we know, and I normally have that one in front of me, but again, I decided in this matchup I wasn't going to be keeping the Gnar counter high. You can just say
many. You can just say many, and it's most. Most of his games were on Gnar, is basically how that one goes.
He's a very good Gnar player is what I'm getting at, and we'll see if the management of that Gnar bar will be good enough to get those team fight wins around the mid game. Because I see, my crystal ball here is if there is even a little crack in how Hanwha Life Esports set up, even one small error, we're seeing the Zeri grab a kill or 2 kills in a mid-game fight. You make one mistake against T1's comp, the Zeri moment happens early.
No, that's exactly right. Plus, it's owner's Lee Sin, so we'll have to see whether he's going to get things going early as well. All right, here we are onto the Rift for game number 2. So, T1 did lock in Sejuani for Zeus, but to all of you who are saying, oh, put your best player on a tank, blah, 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 remember, you can absolutely thrash this lane with the Sejuani. He has gone for the Ignite here as well, and so Dudu has to be very, very careful because we've seen solo kills, we've seen Nas fall extraordinarily far behind. Because of this piggy with a lady on her back, so yeah, it's more exciting, more interesting.
It's one of the more fun matchups because the Gnar also has some power in this lane too, and can look for hyper procs and some aggressive trading, but you have to do it very carefully. And if you make even one mistake, you will die. And also, if Owner camps you, you're probably doomed. As Owner just has given so much support to Zeus, not only in game 1 of this series, but just all season long. Even in tank matchups like this, they haven't had to put their resources bottom side as much. T1 and Genji have been pretty self-sufficient there, although Peanut has just decided that Ruler is going to carry every game. But he hasn't always needed to be there, right? And Guma has played a lot of strong side bottom here. That's why the Draven is permabanned now against him.
Yeah, they were definitely doing a lot of good things with those Draven comps that they would pick every single time they were able to.
Yeah, it was a pretty successful champ, let's say. And I am most looking forward to seeing if Samdi can perform on the Sivir in the mid-game fights that he will be stronger in with his ultimate, with his first item, the Kraken Slayer he's going to pick up here. Because if he can't pull it off, you know, it feels like this composition is going to fall apart faster than a house of cards.
No, I agree. As Dudu, 4-13 on this Nah. So confirmation that it is 17 games. So this means that he has now played 18 games of Nah and 19 games of anything else.
Yeah.
This season.
About hitting the 50% mark there.
Yeah, he really is. We need to go to a game number 3, and he needs to play Nah again for that perfect synergy. But that's going to be a difficult prospect because this exists on the Rift. 29 wins, 3 losses, 90.6% win rate, and that sample size is massive, ladies and gentlemen. 5.5 KDA. Owner's Lee Sin is on a complete other level. Like, I remember we've been gushing about like win rates for certain players. For example, I'll mention Deft because I feel like I have to every single day that I am here on the desk. But his Jinx win rate is something that we were going on about over and over again. And it hasn't been 90 for a long time. Owner is still sitting there with a 90-plus win rate on this Lee Sin.
See, Lee Sin's on a bit of a loss streak. The reason why Owner hasn't been able to save that is because he keeps getting banned against him. He's just not allowed to play it usually.
Well, here he is again. Extendo Beam to come down. Samdi taking way too much damage. He's trying to spell shield incoming auto attacks, and it's not working out already. Flash and heal down for the Sivir.
Yep, and that's going to be a Sivir who is pushed away from this lane, and that's going to be a Zeri.
Karis. Also, Faker directionalizing. Directionalizing? Really, Atlas? His seismic shove to throw him through the rocks, which was very cool.
Yeah. And
directionalizing. What word was I looking for, Wolf?
Angling, maybe?
Yeah, I think angling's probably the word.
Yeah, that's probably what I was going with.
Like an actually real word.
Directionalizing was very cool sounding, though.
It did sound cool.
When you just add "izing" to things, non-native English speakers just trust that it's true. Because that's what we do. We just "ize" things in English.
Yeah.
We "ize" things and we "ish" things.
Yeah. And if you're learning something, then you just become an ologist of anything that you ever want.
I'm a directionizing-ologist.
Yeah, directionalizologist.
Etition.
Yes.
Okay, back to the real gameplay at hand. Zeri doesn't grab a kill, but will grab a plate early on in this game, and that's speaking a lot. Now here comes the top side camp. There's no vision. He sneaks through here using a ward hop through the pit. Unfortunately, that minion trolls him, but the pathing was cool because he's able to safeguard ward hop through the Rift Herald pit there to find the angle and almost pulls it off.
Ooh, Faker might be in a little bit of trouble here. On Fleet is rotating over. There's the flash forward. Karis is going to land the chains as well. Faker's going to flash. Seismic shove. Oh, he even avoids the chain lash as well. Fantastically well done. Seismic shove missed the mark. However, Faker with his flash is able to escape.
Okay. Extendo beam blocked there, but
yep.
It's going to be spell shield down for a moment. And it is going to be on Fleek looking for great control, knowing that Owner was topside there. And I think this is actually a really nice call. Prio in mid to Karis right now on Fleek, looks for a pick and then just sets up this Drake very easy. Small lead here for Hanwha Esports in that regard. Obviously the plate pick up their bottom side for Guma is arguably more significant than usually when we think about Zeri, but it does give Hanwha Esports the ability to force some mid-game team fights. Like, they want to be the ones getting Drake after Drake after Drake and forcing T1 to look for that soul point fight, that soul fight, before the Zeri gets 2 items, 3 items, and starts to actually become a big threat.
Yep. Faker has played a bunch of the Taliyah over the years. As, of course, I don't even remember which year it was. Maybe it was 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Still having a above 70% win rate when Taliyah was in meta in 2018. Is an actual feat because SKT was struggling at that time. Surprisingly enough, Zeus also struggling here as Dudu's Nah is working out. As I say that, misses the wallop, and Zeus is just going to collect this minion wave as it crashes into his turret. As on Fleek is clearing out his topside jump.
Yeah, I don't know. I always just associate, when I think about old Taliyah mid, I just always think about Papa Smithy. Like, I can hear his voice explaining it in my head.
Yep.
I want to say 2018.
I think, yeah, 2018, 2017, because I remember it was like the time of the BDD.
Yeah.
And so that makes me think of Longzhu, which makes me think of 2017.
True, yeah.
But all of the years are kind of slipping together, Wolf, I'm not going to lie. We've been here in Korea for 5 years' time. How long have you been in Korea?
I've been here since 2011, so a very long time.
That's 11 years.
11 years, yeah. Just at the end of May.
Wow.
11 years for me. A long time.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations on your 11-year anniversary.
Well, 10 is way cooler, but, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
11's all right.
Yeah, well, I don't think we celebrated your 10-year anniversary of being in Korea last year, did we?
No.
Which is a little bit sad. I feel like we may have missed something there.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, I kind of celebrated on my own.
Is 12 years at home. Is 12 years a fun milestone? Maybe we could do next year instead.
We go from 10 to 12.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's when you're officially double the amount of time that I've been in Korea, because that'll be my 6th year anniversary at the end of March.
Yeah, well, time is a 12-based system, and
yeah,
we're talking about years, and that's a unit of time. So
yeah,
yeah.
There are a lot of reasons that we should do this. We should do it in April as well, because I arrived in March and you arrived in May, halfway between.
Perfect.
Beautiful. And also in April, we have some time off.
12 a multiple of 4.
Oh. Just incredible stuff. Look at us doing math on a broadcast like this, as Dudu and Zeus are just fighting one another. The reason why we're talking about this, guys, is because now the setup for the Rift Herald is complete, and now it's time to talk about the video game. As Zeus is going to rotate down, Extendo Beam doing a fair bit of damage here to Karis, who does have a Dragon Rage kick. Dudu with a great Naba finds Nah to 1. Everybody else is able to flash themselves out of the way, and Ona's going to pick up first blood onto the enemy jungler. Now T1 are turning. They're looking for Dudu to get their revenge, as they had to use summoner spells. Absurd. T1 will go back, and they will just tidy up this river, clear out the vision, clear out the Rift Scuttler, and claim their prize.
I mean, Owner is just like, all right, I will kill the enemy jungler and take the Rift Herald. I hope it's going pretty well for you guys over there on the other side of the fight, while Dudu is flying through with this Gnar, but it's not a massive one. You know, only hits 1. Faker has cleanse, and there's just no follow-up damage. And Sivir wants to be taking fights like this early on, knows she's not here when the Gnar comes through. As again, Faker he gets stunned here, but he doesn't actually get into lethal damage range because nobody is there to follow up the damage. Like, this is basically a Sivirless fight. Yeah. Owner gets the kill, gets the Rift Herald, and the idea and the Narbar setup was so good for Dudu, but if there's nobody else there to follow up on your damage, who cares?
Yeah, and also, like, it was only 1 flash. It was only carry that flashed. Otherwise, it was just 2 dashes that got them out of the way. And, you know, otherwise, and you hit 1 target, and you can't kill them because it's this early in the game. So a little bit of a sad situation, as sometimes the Gnar play is just a little bit too telegraphed, and you're read like a book.
And, you know, the follow-up CC from Vista was good, but at the end of the day, you know, you can't be forcing this fight here while your jungler is in peril and your AD carry is in a position. Like, that's the major issue, whereas T1 is exactly where they want to be, and it's a huge win for them. Only 1 kill. But the bigger story here, of course, is the Rift Herald that's in their possession with the Zeri slowing the game down.
And also control of the map when you have the global advantage as well. In theory, of course, Hijack will allow Karis to have an option there. But Faker now, seismic shove onto OnFleek, as OnFleek's trying to get some control of this river back. Hextech Soul, not an option, as it is going to be the second Drake of this game. See whether it's an interesting one.
It's really interesting because Taliyah, you know, hasn't really been that much of a global threat in this meta. She's more used her ultimate just in the middle of a team fight to zone, or to try to rush to an objective, get an early backup, almost like a teleport. But, you know, in this matchup, she's been quite pinned down, and you know, her real value has just been in her ability to set up fights and her just sustained damage later on in the game. She's just a battle mage. Her threaded volleys just do such insane amounts of damage, especially into a fairly melee-heavy composition like Hanwha is looking to be when the Gnar has Mega Gnar and they're looking for engages. Yeah, you can catch somebody who engages, you can do tons of damage to them. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, and also now having that huge nuke as well means that when you're set up for sieges and stuff like this, it actually feels great, as we
just
can
look
see
at
demonstrated.
It,
yeah.
It's like,
thanks, Faker.
Thanks, Faker, for just making the point for us in real life, because Silas, you know, he was doing all right in the early parts of this, but now he's just going to kind of be battered by some of the damage coming through from Faker as these items come online, and as he starts to get more mana with this tier, he can just repeatedly use this Q to harass without being punished for it.
Yeah. Well, that Kraken Slayer that you were talking about has come through here for SumD. Probably wants a little bit more attack speed until he's really happy. But still, that item spike feels a little bit better than that of the Immortal Shield Bow. Shield Bow a little bit more defensively orientated. So SumD just going to get back to work, tidying up these mini waves and looking to see whether he's allowed to take any crockery from the bot lane turret. Gumayusi, though, is here in the mid lane, looking to try and grab some plate gold. Should be able to do so. Karras gets himself a wild growth. And Kerry's going to say, why did you take my ability? It's very, very rude. Vista looking for an opportunity here over the wall, but he's not going to find it. Had the Hex Flash available. Didn't really find himself an opportunity that he really wanted.
Yeah. Turret, very vulnerable here, very ripe for the taking here for T1 with a few more pushes of this mid lane. It's going to, mid wave. Going to be easy to take. SumD just catching waves right now, but it doesn't have any power until this next objective fight, which is frankly so far away that we're going to have a bit of a lull state here because T1 aren't looking to force fights or force picks. You know, if Hanwha Esports is elsewhere or this, you know, Sivir is not in the mid lane, they will grab the last part of that turret like I was talking about, but don't need to do so now. Could do it even during the neutral contest for Rift Herald, as obviously Sivir has such great wave clear.
This is interesting. Owner and Carrier are here a little bit early, as Zeus is still a long way away. Not going to be going for any sort of dive or anything like that. Walking over a ward here as well, as Owner and Carrier are going to back. Dudu could potentially throw a drill into that brush, and does do so.
Might actually...
Oh dear, this may have killed him.
Yeah.
That's very, very sad. His flash just came off cooldown right at that second. And so did have the opportunity to flash away. That crush wasn't enough.
Yeah, if that...
that felt real dicey.
If that Sonic Wave hits, Owner gets a kick on him, and he's probably dead.
Yep.
Just out of range, unfortunately. As, man, Faker is just starting to bully the Silas now.
Yeah, he's got his crown completed. Does have that extra safety if he does happen to get abducted, perhaps.
Now, this game looks so different from last game because T1 are playing around a composition that needs to scale up well, and Zeus is on the tank, and despite some resources being committed to the top side for him, hasn't led to him snowballing this lane out of control or anything like that.
Yep.
So it's a very different game, but T1 still have a pretty massive tempo lead right now. Getting that second Drake, putting themselves at a 1,500 gold lead here, getting the crash in mid, that Rift Herald fight going their way. This means that their comp is doing way more than most Zeri comps do, actually, at this stage in time. And it looks like they're the stronger early mid-game team, even though normally, traditionally, it's the Sivir comp that actually has that power here. Just T1 showcasing how strong they are as a team, even when the enemy has the answer.
Yeah, and do you know what it feels like to me? It feels like it's the Owner Lee Sin comp is what does it. That's sort of how it works out. That's how they get that extra control. As here we've got a bit of a battle brewing, as Karras looking for an angle for this Glacial Prison, but they're getting zoned away. Faker with so much control of this area. Zeus finds the Glacial Prison. There's the seismic shove as the Viego tries to get out, but he just can't. Now Owner's looking for the Q. He'll, of course, get it, but he gets walloped underneath the turret. Beautifully played by Dudu. He is going to get punished here, as Faker can just throw some rocks through, but oh, can he? All right, so they do manage to take that one. Faker goes golden. SumD has great use of his spell shield, and they will be able to finally pick up that kill as well, as T1 will take Shirley.
A little bit flashy here for T1 of a take on this Herald. In fact, they're going to have to let this one go, it looks like here. Guma on the edge here, and Carrier used his ultimate earlier on, used his heal.
Well, Hook is going to connect here as Karras is going to land the chains, and Gumayusi, he just thought he could dash over the wall, but he was staying there too long.
Probably should have just flashed that one as, oh no, the Herald is going to get dropped of aggro for just a second. We'll be able to maintain the pull here though, and are going to be taking this one away. So Dudu is just like, well, if they are going to be this crazy, if they're going to be this all in on me, I'm actually going to be a hero. Turns that one around so beautifully.
Yeah, I saw the Nahbar Wolf, and I was like, but it's not. And then I looked over and I was like, but it's Owner, so he's definitely going to be able to do this. And then, no, as it turns out, still not. Never mind.
Crazy how many resources are committed and they still don't trade up on that part of the map. As the engage here is beautiful. They take out on Fleek. Dudu is pushed back. You could just take the Herald here, but no, we got to be showy, right?
Could,
and Dudu,
should, you know.
Yeah. Just because you might be able to doesn't mean that you absolutely should try to force this. As then Faker gets walloped and knocked up. Yes, Dudu gets killed, but Faker is left out to dry here, even though Keria commits heal.
In the meantime, On Fleek is going to head up towards that top side and kill Faker in trade for the Dragon. Some happy gaming is ensuing here as we are underneath.
It could become sad very quickly.
Gold lead. Yes, indeed. Dudu going to hop away as Keria and Ona were in the vicinity. T1 will take this out of turret. Zeus is extraordinarily tanky. Q connects, of course, and Vista is well and truly dead. T1 going to prove to us that they are still in the lead. As Glitter Lance goes wide, On Fleek looks for a stun, doesn't get it. Zeus very tanky. As Ona will land a Q. Paying a lot of respect to the position that On Fleek could be in. As Hanwha back away.
But there's just no objective to fight for, so...
Yeah, it's just that they're fighting for fighting's sake.
I mean, the one objective to fight for, of course, was defending the mid-turret, but they were trying to find a little bit more information of what was happening around the Raptor camp. They weren't fully grouped up, and unfortunately, Vista was kind of left out to die there. As we're going to watch what happened to Faker as he comes over here to try to defend this turret, and is, of course, flashless and cleanseless, so just instantly deleted.
Yep, Heartbreaker, pretty useful there to avoid Seismic Shock.
And notice where everybody else is. They're trying to group up for that Gnar bar that's set up for shutting down Lee Sin, but Guma and Zeus are pushing this. Vista, once the turret is down, is just completely isolated and destroyed. So an easy pick here for T1 after Faker's death. They grab the turret. So a trade up for them in terms of crucial objectives, despite that top side play. So it's a turret for a turret. But T1 still walking away as the dust settles with the big advantage. Not as big as it used to be after that really odd scuffle on the Rift Herald.
Yeah, but if you're a T1 fan, don't be too worried. There is still a Zeri in this game. She is 1-1-2 and on even farm with this Sivir and has a turret lead and a gold lead. So yeah, everything's fine. T1 at this stage. However, if they make any more whoopsies like this, things could become a little bit more problematic. As now T1 pushing up here in this mid lane in the 4v4. Mid laners farming on opposite sides of the map. Faker, no teleport available, of course, has elected for the Ghost, but Karras has his on cooldown. He will take this out of turret, and Faker's looking for his. Q connects here onto Dudu, who's just throwing drills around, and now Zeus is sort of alone underneath this one. There is a Gnar into the wall. Owner is going to turn up. On Fleek has to get himself out of here. The Ignite's still ticking down as Owner finds yet another one. Safeguard to find Sam D, and they are tidying everyone up. Owner is too good, Wolf. He's just too good at Lee Sin.
He's just too good. Now, he did set the chains in motion for that disaster that happened on the top side. But you know what? He's just going to make up for it. Everything before that moment was amazing, and everything after that moment so far has been amazing. And that's going to be a successful defense of a turret and a Baron take on spawn here for T1. 3 members of Hanwha Esports still in the death chamber as this Baron goes down. And T1 just will be able to set up successful defenses of objectives. You see what happened with the Nautilus or Vista and the rest of his team are not on the same page on the defense. Look at how well set up T1 is here to actually use the last 5% of this turret's health to force a successful team fight here. On Fleek's got the Ignite taking against him. Owner plays this perfectly, takes him out, and Sam D with the help of Faker, of course, to get the slow here onto Vista. 3 kills, Baron, and this game is now wide open for T1. 3rd item for Zeri on the horizon here.
Yeah.
And man, suddenly this game just feels unwinnable for Hanwha Esports after what was the most hopeful moment of them just moments ago.
And maybe, just maybe, that was the entire strategy. We've said this, I think, so many times this week. The false sense of security. Luring your opposition to thinking that they might be able to win a fight. Because T1 finding a team fight at 19.5 minutes in the game feels a little bit poignant given T1's history with Baron. As that Seismic Shove was beautiful. The follow-up here from Zeus as well. Winter's Wrath not going to connect. As
Look at all these
does make it into the camouflage mode. Faker has to flash to get himself out of the way here, as there is the flash now. Lands onto 2. Zeus able to arctically assault away though, and somehow T1 all survive.
Yeah, they all survive here. The push is staved off for now. And some flashes are expended. Faker and Keria losing both of their summoner spells, but they could just wait for the next wave and siege it up again.
Yep, here we go. Zeus is just dashing on forward. Ona is going to be able to pick up the kill onto Karis after a little bit of time here. Breaks his stopwatch afterwards, and it's going to be Gumayusi that's given the kill credit for that one. 3-1 and 4 now on the Zeri. Weren't we just talking about it being 1-1 and 2? Zeri things.
Just Zeri things.
Yeah, just Zeri things.
Who needs to upgrade boots?
Not
Zeri.
She presses R to get boots. That's what champions do now. Zeus, can you just Arctic Assault out of that? Yeah, I guess you can. No worries there at all. Faker with the weave as well to come on through here is now Hanwha Life Esports. This is not where you want to be. Ona's underneath the turret, but of course that doesn't matter as he safeguards his way out. Gumayusi picks that one up with a last-minute Q. And this is just starting, it's really starting to look like the Harlem Globetrotters now, Wolf.
Yeah.
T1 turned this game into what looked somewhat competitive after that Herald fight into completely unwinnable at all in any way after that mid-turret.
It's their hyperbolic time chamber. They're just limit testing nonstop as... Yeah, the teleport here from Dudu, where they flank, is actually really incredible, and it sets up for a really nice angle, but with the summoner spell advantage that T1 have, they get to flash these, and then Zeus just gets out over the wall here, and at this point, you're like, okay, well, are T1 going to be able to push? Yeah, they just reset, come over here, teleport in, Extendo Beam is massive, and Hanwha Life Esports just don't have a front-to-back teamfight composition anymore when the pieces are falling apart like this and the Narbar isn't there and Baron is up. The siege here from T1 is amazing, and it just continues. Like, we're going to watch this whole thing, I guess.
Meanwhile, in live, On Fleek's dead. I did have a little bit of a look at that, but Vista's dead as well. It started off with Ona missing a Q. He got very upset about that, so he killed 2 people, I think is how that one went. Meanwhile, Dudu is just trying to forget about the woes of the top side of the map whilst dealing with the super minions that have been placed into his bottom lane. So T1, they will secure this inner turret, and it's about, yeah, crossing I's and dotting T's, I think, or the other way around. This game has me a little bit frazzled.
Yeah, I mean, look, T1 have the Baron buff now expired, and they are only able to get bottom inhibitor, but it's arguably the most valuable one for them this game because it will, of course, keep super minions on the opposite side of the map for the next Baron spawn in 2 minutes' time, which is why Dudu was spending some time actually clearing that one out to make sure it's not going to be threatening those Nexus turrets anytime soon. But T1's still fully in control of this map and in this game, even though the Baron has expired, and now it feels like we're slowing down a little bit here. But the early game Sivir never found team fight success, even when there was that big overextension, let's just say, as we're going to come into this late here and see what happened. Owner doesn't even hit the Q, just uses a ward hop to get on top of Conflict. Second Q lands, takes him out here. Zeus is with him, but the Sivir doesn't get any power, doesn't get any value. We're seeing the value of Shirelia's for Keria be much more important than Sivir's ultimate here. And the tempo lead that T1 had so early on now allows them to stomp 10,000 gold ahead. Guma takes an item lead here with 2,700 gold. He has an advantage right now. And this game has all been about Owner just limit testing. It's just his testing room, his training room.
I think, do you know, like, actually that's how T1 outdrafted Hanwha Life Esports. They picked Lee Sin. And actually the rest of it is entirely irrelevant.
In this game, yeah.
Yeah. He's just too good at this champion. I think this is a phenomenal showcase of, I mean, yes, the T1 draft, absolutely playable, totally fine, but Hanwha Life Esports as well. They've got a great one. But unfortunately, the fact is, we have nameplates, and the Lee Sin has Owner written on it, and therefore it's like, oh, well, I guess we lost.
Yeah, and this is why top teams against T1 just do not let this one go through. They'll allow T1 to have even stronger and more meta picks. Lee Sin is on a 9, I believe, game losing streak because Owner has had it banned against him every time. Yeah. When it's not, guess what? I think the streak is over.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling that Lee Sin might be winning a game. 100% kill contribution so far. As, yeah, these rocks are really starting to hurt as Faker is throwing them over. I'm very used to them being icicles, as everyone does like using that particular skin. As T1 have set up a bit of a gank brush here. Karis might just die. There is the Glacial Prison. as he is going to go golden for a moment. Faker off to the side, looking for Dudu. Seismic shove is good, pushes him back towards the wall. No one dead just yet, but Zayas can tank for about forever. The Sivir will fall down. Gumyushi picks up his double, make it a triple. Will he get another pentakill? It's a quadra at least, but where did the Silas go? He's going to be teleporting. He's trying to get out, and there's the kick to the back of the head. How dare you deny the pentakill? As Gumyushi will find a penta in the previous series. He played the Zeri, and then a quadra kill in this one.
I really like the scriptwriters and the director of this game just really metaphorically showing that, yes, Guma did get a quadra kill on Zeri, but it was actually the Lee Sin the whole time. And how Lee Sin gets the 5th and final kill for the ace there, the director is really symbolically showing that he will pick up POG despite the quadra.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful.
It's not penta denial when he deserves it. Absolutely. Vista is just going to be taken down here. Faker picks up that kill. The Nexus is going to follow suit. T1 utterly dominant in this game, and it's exactly what we asked for from the squad that still has a very small chance of locking down that first place if Gen G do falter. And they could still, of course, win the LCK in summer. They are still very likely to head towards round 2 as well, as T1 just showing that they are not to be written off.
Certainly not. A 2-0 victory was what the fans wanted tonight. That is what the players